Hey everybody. So special day today. I've got a couple cues in the basement here. How did I get these cues? Well, they are from a company called Rhino Billiards out of Vietnam. So how I happened upon it was I was on Facebook. I actually saw their ad pop up. It was sponsored. So they're spending a little bit of money getting their name out there. And people were talking about the cues. And I just threw it out there. I said, hey, DM me. I'd be happy to review your cues. And lo and behold, they actually did DM me. So, they asked, well, what do you have in mind? And I didn't know what I had in mind. So I went to their site and I checked them out. And I said, well, why don't you send me a black and red Eclipse and send me a breaker cue, the Komet they call it. And they said, sure, can't wait for your reviews. And I was like, okay. So they came. They left on a Friday in Vietnam and they got here on a Wednesday. So basically it took about 5 days. So, considering from Vietnam all the way into Alberta, Canada, that's pretty good. So what this video is I'm going to be opening it up. I'm going to be unboxing. I got a scale. I'm going to, just take a few initial measurements. This is going to be feel and this is going to be looks. Okay, I'm just going to quickly talk about what I'm seeing. I'll probably do I will do a subsequent video after I played with the cue for a little bit, right? There is definitely an absence out there of actual real players getting their hands on these cues and talking about how they feel, right? But there is a movement that's happening in Asia. J Flowers, I play with J Flowers. They're a company out of China and I love them, right? I love the product and it's at a competitive price. And that's what Rhino is claiming on their website. They want to create quality at a competitive rate. And that's what I'm looking for too. It's not that I don't have the money. It's that I am the ilk that things are too expensive right now. So yeah, let's get to her.
Is that you, bud? Hey, bud.
I was actually kind of surprised whenever I've received a cue that was shipped to me, it's always come in those big square boxes, right? And then bubble wrapped. So I was actually kind of surprised that it came in such a lean packaging, but it's got the fragile over top of these two cues and it looks like there's no dents anywhere. So I guess they did watch themselves. Okay, so they do have a label. This one is the Komet Silver Break. And this one here is the Eclipse Red Radial 12.8. So same radial pin that is on my J Flowers. Okay, so there is bubble wrap. So it came in this box here, and then there is bubble wrap around this. I don't know if it's a box. It needs to be a box. It's not a hard box. Okay, so it's not a hard case or anything by any means, but it is a box with wrapping around it. So we'll open it. Okay, so it comes with joint protectors. That's interesting. Well, that's good, at least. That's what I meant. So this is a 12.8 millimeter Pro Taper carbon fiber shaft with joint protectors. Taking a look at the wrap, it is that lizard skin type wrap. Here's the seam. barely visible. Right there. So I do lose it. It's not as if I really do have to look for it, so that's good. Oh, I was like, what's that rattle? The joint protector was loose. Excuse me, I'm 49 years old now. So that wrap is matching up nicely to the bottom of the butt. One of the things that it says on this website is this butt is composite. It's not wood, it's not carbon fiber itself like BQ is doing. It is composite. So in the end, like I said at the start, I care about feel and I care about looks, right? So if it hits good, I don't care about it. There are traditionalists out there that say, you know, wood isn't going anywhere. I beg to differ. You know what I mean? It's just what your preference is, okay? So if this is the reason why they can sell a cue at a competitive price, then they're gonna maybe continue. Here's the butt. Kind of a harder rubber. I don't know if I'm a fan of the harder rubber like this, but obviously you can open this up and they have a weighting system if you want to add weight. I don't have the weights, but this is easily unscrewable. It's not extension ready. And there's the 3/8 by 8 radial pin. Okay, so I'm going to throw it together. So far everything looks really nice. Still loose with 1.5 threads. So it's loose pretty much the whole way. It's not like a Hubler back in the day where it was you could just throw on 3 threads and you could almost play with it. That's how tight that nylon insert was. Matches up perfectly. Matches up perfectly. That's nice. I'm gonna turn on the scale here. I'm just gonna, I mean, I don't get too crazy on weights. They say this is, I think they said it was 19.5. $19 on the nose. Okay, yeah, 19.5 was the breaker. So we'll see if they come in there. This is coming in at 19 exactly. One thing that I really look at, man, that is sharp. This red, I don't know if you can tell in the pictures, but it's a maroon, a darker red. I like that a lot, actually. Obviously, this is an overlay cue. It's not an inlay cue. So some people will say, well, you like playing with a cue with stickers. I don't care. As long as I can't tell that it's stickers, it has nothing to do with the playability. So if you want to spend thousands on inlays, go hard. Something that Jay Flowers does is they have their etching always in line with their symbol, and I just screwed this on. Here's the symbol straight across. There's the Rhino symbol on the butt. So that's always a nice feature with a cue company. That's them going a little bit further, right? So they must have these in a machine and they laser etch while it's screwed together tightly to make that happen. That must be the process. But there it is. That is the Eclipse. So they have a couple of lines, the Nebula and the Eclipse. The Nebula seems to be priced a little bit cheaper than, it's just over 300, whereas the Eclipse is around 350. Interesting. Looks really nice. Can't wait to hit a few balls with it. Let's open up. Oh, and I wanted to measure something here. Oh yeah, there you go. So something interesting with this shaft is that, I'm gonna unscrew it here, it's a little bit longer than a regular playing shaft. Regular playing shaft, so this is the SMO. The regular playing shaft is around 29 inches, right? Yeah, 29 1/8 after the sight plate. This is 29 right after the sight plate. Wow, no, 29 and 7/8. 29 and 11/16. So it's longer. It's a little bit longer. So that is interesting. Keep that in mind. You're getting a little bit longer of a cue unless the butt is shorter. I don't have my J-Flowers butt. I'm gonna grab it and measure that in a bit. So there is that cue. The Eclipse, red and black. 19 ounces that's coming in. Can't wait to hit with it. It's gonna be another video, but I'll put that over here. Let's open up the Komet. So, breaking's always an interesting discussion. I play a lot of 8-ball. I have my 2 break cues that I've used in the past. I've never ended up buying a higher end break cue. I think back in the day, I bought this TNT 2 break cue from Falcon. I think it was $150. And I couldn't believe I was spending that much back then. Now people are spending over $1,000 on a Predator. Insane. Come on out, baby. So I've got 2 break cues here. That TNT, which runs 19.5 ounces. It's a heavier one. And then I've got an old Mally that I got a friend put a straight phenolic tip on. It doesn't even have a regular breaker tip. It's just straight phenolic that's rounded at the end. And that, I took the weight bolt out. It doesn't even have a butt cap. So why did I do that? Well, there's 2 trains of thought, right? If you talk to Cujo Customs Cues, Darcy, and he says, on a break, you want club head speed. It's like golf, right? You just want it to be fast. And then there's others that like a heavier cue when they break. So I've got the best of both worlds there. That being said, on the weekend, Andrew came over here and we played some games. And I broke with the J-Flowers breaker for the first time. Whew. I'll be interested to know how this compares because the J-Flowers, she breaks well. Okay, so here's the silver Komet. Comes with joint protectors as well. This is supposed to come in, I know for a fact, at 19.5 because this is what's interesting to me. Also, this is a 3D printed technology, they say on their website, this grip. So it is textured. It's a complete overlay. So for example, this looks like it's not recessed. This is not recessed at all on the breaker. Right? You know how sometimes they recess the whatever, even if it's just a linen, they would recess it so that it's flush. This is on top. And it's, I don't know what the word is, nodular, right? You can feel it. So that's interesting. The joint is, again, 3/8 by 8 radial. And I'm going to use the micrometer quickly here. This is supposed to be a 13 millimeter. .08. So it's just a hair over 13 mil, which I like because I want a bigger tip on my breaker. Throwing this in halfway, a little bit, same as before with the other. Yeah, got to go the whole way to tighten it, and it fits absolutely flush. And again, the laser etching at the top matches up with the logo on the bottom, so they've gone that little extra mile. I'm going to throw on the scale here. .8. So that's even heavier than what they say. 19.8. Unscrewing the butt here. This one, just checking to see if you can add weight to this one as well. Yeah, so you could use, if you wanted to add weight, you could use their weight bolt system into this one as well, I'm thinking. Allen key. Oh, actually you can take out here too. So let's talk tips. This one here is coming with what they call a Komet tip. And the playing cue is what they call a crystal. So I did ask them the question, so are these proprietary tips? Yes, that is proprietary tips. So this is not a slight to Rhino Billiards, but you know, I'm going to try hitting balls with these tips. No guarantees that I'm not going to rip them off, and put a tip on there that, you know, from a company that specializes, right? So for example, this brake tip I'm probably going to rip off and throw something much harder and known. And then for the playing cue, obviously, half of it is the tip. For example, I've got a Caden brand soft on my SMO right now. It's probably the best tip I've ever played with. So, you know, Rhino is not in the business of tips. Obviously they've got something proprietary in the tips that they provided on their cues, and I'll talk more about it in the next video after I've hit a few balls. But yeah, those tips are probably going to come off halfway through the video, and I'm going to throw something a little bit more known on there so that we can all be talking the same language. So yeah, initial impressions is they go together well. They go together flush. This feels really unique, this 3D printed grip on the breaker. I want to see how this breaks. And then the playing cue, same thing. That's about it. One thing of note is, yes, this is a pro taper. The SMO is a pro taper. The classic from the J Flowers. I tell you what, really, really interesting, this length thing. So the breaker is longer. The breaker as well is longer. I want to get to the bottom of this. Don't want to get this mixed up here. Again, the breaker shaft, 29 3/4. 29 3/4. So shafts, the shafts are coming in at the same. This should be around 29, yeah. So the breaker is 29. My J Flowers Dante 2, 29. And I'm assuming the Eclipse is around 29 as well. Yes. Interesting, interesting. So the one difference is that these shafts, both on the Komet breaker and the playing cue, are basically an inch longer. What did I say? 29 and 11/16 or in and around there. So I'm going to ask them the question, and I'll give you an answer in the next video on why they decided to go with a little bit longer. I know that they're in the market, or they're in the business of selling carom cues, and so that's obviously a different game. 3-cushion billiards. I didn't even know that the shaft, when you play that game, is different. So shorter and a little bit thicker, I guess. I'm just learning about that. So there it is, Rhino Billiards. Can't wait to hit some balls with this, especially the breaker. I want to see how it compares. So like I said, there's, I don't know if I said to you guys, there's 2 trains of thought, right? There's that club head speed thought. There's you're getting older and you just want the cue to do the work, right? So I'm turning 49 this year. I'm close to the big 5-0. So maybe I've lost some club head speed, right? I play 8-ball primarily, and I break second ball. So you don't have to hit it a ton. You have to hit it hard, right? But I've got it down to a science where I'm breaking second ball. I don't touch the head ball at all if I hit it perfectly. And the only thing I'm doing is to hit it solid, have that cue ball go into the side rail and back into the pack, right? 9-ball and 10-ball, a little bit different. You want to add some more power to it, right? But yeah, so that's probably why I haven't gone and bought myself a dedicated breaker that's got some serious power, is because, you know, the two cues that I have were fine in that regard, right? If I switched to 9-ball and 10-ball, I brought out the Falcon because it's a little bit heavier. That's what I prefer. Maybe I just don't have the club head speed, as Darcy would call it, that others do. But when I played 8-ball, I just used this old refurbished Malley. And it was a hard hit because of the phenolic tip. And I got a little bit more club head speed, I guess, because it's only 17.5 ounces. So interested to see how the Komet does. A dedicated breaker that is in the business, supposedly performing well at breaking. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do like the video and share it if you can. That tells YouTube that you like what I do here. In the meantime and in between time, I'll catch you on the flip side. Toodle.